Welcome to Muslim Apologetics Australia. In this video, we're going to be showing how Paul, the apostle and the prophet of the Christian faith, was also indeed possessed by Satan. If you open up your Bibles, read 2 Corinthians 12:7. That says, "He was given a messenger of Satan to torment him, and he felt the pain of Satan in his flesh." It's clear Satan was inside Paul, the founder of Christianity. So unlike Jesus, where Jesus didn't have Satan inside him, and you can watch my video below this video, I show how Jesus was possessed by Satan also. Paul was, I think, even more affected than Satan than Jesus was, because Paul actually had Satan inside him, putting pains and torments even into his flesh. And if you notice, Christian apologists say that being possessed is actually having the demon inside you. So here we have a verse where it says that the messenger of Satan was inside Paul and it was giving him pain in his flesh. So it was inside his flesh giving him pain. Now it gets even more interesting. If you open up 2 Corinthians 12, he was sent a messenger of Satan that never left him. That means he wrote his epistles under the influence of a messenger of Satan. He requests God 3 times for Satan to leave him, but God did not allow Satan to be removed from Paul. Now, what does that say? Can you imagine? I mean, if a verse like this was found in the Quran or the Hadith with Prophet Muhammad, the Christians would have a field day with it and say, look, Satan could not ever leave Muhammad. So Muhammad was possessed forever. Muhammad even asked Allah for Satan, Iblis, to leave him, but Allah did not allow it. Can you imagine how much of a field day of fun the Christians would have with this? This is the founder, the one that came with the New Testament. Paul, who is basically the founder of the New Testament, he has Satan beside him, and he asks God, he prays to God for Satan to leave him, and God does not allow it. 3 times he asks him. So what is it to say that Paul wasn't influenced by the messenger of Satan when he was actually writing his epistles? Can you imagine? You're sitting there, Satan's constantly with you, and you're writing your epistles. Would you really trust that man, would you? Can you imagine Paul came to you and said, look, I'm an apostle, I'm a prophet, and I saw Jesus in a vision, but I also must inform you that Satan is next to me and he's always with me. Would you really trust an apostle like that tells you that Satan is side by side with Paul? Now it's interesting because in the book of Acts 26:13-14, Paul claims to see a light in heaven and he claims it's Jesus, but then the man contradicts himself and says in 2 Corinthians 11:3-14, he says that Satan can even appear as the angel of light. So Paul then says he saw a light, so which could mean that was actually Satan himself and not actually Jesus. In fact, if you open up John 8:4, it says, the sign of an antichrist is one who is a murderer from the beginning. And we know that according to the Bible, that Paul used to be a murderer from the very beginning. In Acts 22:4, he persecuted both men and women, innocent Christians. He even ruined churches in Acts 8:3. And God even says, whoever destroys my temple, in 1 Corinthians 3:17, it says that God will destroy him. So you can see that Paul showed clear signs of being devil-possessed all the way through while murdering and killing Christians, and the guy became the founder of Christianity. Amazing, isn't it? Interesting, because if you open up a biblestudy.org questions, and I can put the hyperlink below this video, notice how God says he will be destroyed, and Christians tell us that Paul was destroyed by having his head cut off. So, I mean, that probably explains it. And if you open up 2 Corinthians 12:16, Paul said that he would catch people using the method of trickery. And, this is deception, trickery. So he showed some attributes of being influenced by Satan. Read 2 Corinthians 12:16. And you can also read 1 Corinthians 9 through to 20, where Paul did taqiyya lies. He claimed that he was under the law of Moses, but he himself was not under the law. He actually admits to this, but he did so in order to convert people to Christ. So he was using the form of taqiyya and deception. So all in all, Paul had a messenger of Satan in him to torment him. It didn't let him go. He even prayed to God for God to let him go, but God did not allow it to go. So Paul had a companion of Satan continuously with him. Unlike the Prophet Muhammad, who was also assigned to Satan, but the Prophet Muhammad said in many Sahih hadiths that his jinn, that his Satan actually became a believer. So you see the difference. The Prophet Muhammad had a devil assigned to him. It became a believer. It clearly says that his jinn became a believer. But Paul's Satan, his jinn, it didn't become a believer. It was always an apostate. It was always an infidel. It was always an evil being. So there you have it. Some Christian apologists amazingly say that Paul was given a messenger of Satan so that he could be humbled. I mean, what kind of response is that? Yes, I agree, he was humbled to write lies in his epistles under the influence of Satan. I caught you by trickery, Paul would say. It's amazing when they talk about Prophet Muhammad having Satan, they don't say, it was about being humbled or showing humbleness. But when it comes to biblical prophets, you have all these excuses and bunch of nonsense, pathetic responses, really. Some Christian apologists say it wasn't even Satan, like they even deny what came to Paul. They say it was a messenger of Satan. And then they're basically saying it wasn't Satan himself. However, this can be clearly disproved because Paul said that even an angel can come to you as light, right? Meaning that Satan can appear as the angel of light. So if Satan can appear as the angel of light, this could also mean that Satan can appear as a messenger, right? Can't he do that? So the Christians have no escape. The clear messenger of Satan that came to Paul was Satan himself in the form of Satan. I mean, why would it torment him? Why would it go in his flesh and hurt him? It's clear signs of Satan. It's not some simple, mysterious messenger. It's also bizarre how these people say, Muhammad, an angel met Muhammad in a cave and this angel actually squeezed the prophet. So it means that this angel must be a devil. Yet Paul was given a messenger of Satan to actually torment him in his flesh. Yet they say, it wasn't a demon possessed. It wasn't a demon spirit. I mean, what kind of a nonsense is that? What kind of absurdities is that? They make one claim against the Prophet Muhammad, yet their own prophet feel physical pain and being hurt by the devil, yet they don't claim he's a false prophet. Amazing. So yes, the conclusion is this. If your Paul had Satan attached to him, imagine Paul came to you to convince you he is a prophet and said, I must tell you, I have Satan with me. Are you going to believe this guy? You know what the answer is.